Some general geographical information. The subsequent points clarify some general geographical information. 1. The Pacific Ocean covers a third of the world. About 90% of the world's population lives within the hemisphere, and about 70% of the world's population lives in Europe and Asia. The very best temperature recorded on Earth is 56.72 degrees Celsius within the Valley of Death in California, within the US, and therefore the lowest temperature on Earth has reached -94.7 degrees Celsius within the East Antarctica. The country of China is the largest producer of rice within the world, and it produces approximately 33.9% of the rice supply within the world, and therefore the country of Thailand is the second largest producer and exporter of rice within the world. 2. Lake is the largest lake in Africa, which is found within the geographical region is on the border between Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, and it's the second largest freshwater lake within the world, after Superior in North America. 2. The country of Indonesia has the most important number of Muslims within the world, with Muslims making up 87% of Indonesia's population of 216 million people, and accordingly the country of Indonesia includes approximately 188 million Muslims. 2. Some general chemical information. The subsequent points clarify some general chemical information. 3. The oxygen gas is colorless, but it's blue in both liquid and solid cases. A pure ingredient can take many forms. For instance, diamonds and graphite are kinds of pure carbon. The sole metals that aren't silver in color are gold and copper. The water level falls instead of overflows, after you put a few of salt in an exceedingly cup stuffed with water. Unlike many substances, water expands when frozen. Where the square block occupies a volume that exceeds 9% over the degree of water accustomed form it. Helium balloons floating within the air, because helium is lighter than air. Mars is red because its surface contains lots of iron oxide or rust. Someone feels thirsty when he loses approximately 1% of the water present within the body. Bromine and mercury are the sole two elements that are in liquid form at temperature, and an oversized mass of gallium is dissolved within the hands by holding it by hand. Some general cultural information. The subsequent points explain some general cultural information. 4. The hippo animal doesn't have a stomach in its body, and it absorbs nutrients from food through the intestine, and food passes through its gastrointestinal system very quickly, so it eats plankton and crustaceans small, often. King Richard's lion heart is now within the kind of a pile of ash, where his heart was removed and kept, after his death in 1199 AD. Prosopagnosis may be an upset that affects humans and makes identifying faces difficult for the patient. Camels can store 113 liters of water in precisely 13 minutes, and this water is stored within the bloodstream instead of in its fat hump, which is the source of nutrition when food is scarce. The gravity on the Moon's surface is 1/6 of gravity on Earth's surface. For instance, when someone weighs 68 kilograms on the surface of the world, he weighs only 11 kilograms on the surface of the Moon. This can be because the Moon's gravity is way but the Earth's gravity, because the Moon's mass is just 1% of the Earth's mass, and if someone can stand on the surface of Jupiter, its weight are going to be twice that of its weight on Earth. The skeleton of an adult soul consists of 206 bones, the littlest of which is the passenger bone, which is one among the 3 deep bones within the cavity, and therefore the thigh bone is the longest and strongest bone within the body, and it's worth noting that children are born with variety of bones of up to 270, and with the expansion of the body these bones fuse together.